Welcome to the Bridge Capital Market Observations Call. I'm your host, Eric Jefferson. We are coming to you this week off our regular publishing cycle to address the very sad and deeply tragic events currently taking place in Israel. First and foremost, our thoughts and prayers go out to any friends, colleagues, and especially family members that have been impacted by these deeply tragic events. The emphasis at the moment should be bringing the perpetrators to justice, as well as ensuring the safe return of any hostages. I understand there has been quite a bit of misinformation circulated out there, so I wanted to offer some thoughts, some clarification as to what took place, some speculation or opinion onto the motivation and the timing of these attacks, as well as some initial investment observations. For anyone not familiar, over the weekend, Hamas attacked Israel, killing and kidnapping hundreds. At this point, that includes at least 11 confirmed U.S. citizens. And not surprisingly, Israel has responded with a declaration of war, calling up roughly 400,000 military reservists. Two theories with respect to both the motivation and timing of everything. First, that there are many in the Middle East that were not overly thrilled with the improving relations between Israel and Saudi Arabia. There's a strong argument to be made that if Israel is actively involved in a military conflict with a member of the Middle East, that would likely complicate, if not outright prevent any further progress from being made between those two nations. Additionally, from a timing standpoint, Israel has been a large supporter of Ukraine, not only with aid and intelligence, but also giving large sums of munitions. This would arguably leave them more vulnerable to a land-based attack like what we saw. From an investment standpoint, the market does not like uncertainty. Initially, you saw futures trade lower. However, now 2 days into this event, 2 trading days, we've seen the market rally over 2%. That is more a function of the expectation no additional rate hikes will be made, at least for the immediate future, given all of the uncertainty globally. When we think about what has performed, not surprisingly, defense stocks are those companies involved in the manufacturing and distribution of military equipment and munitions. Those have rallied in anticipation of increased military spending. Airlines have softened as they've been forced to divert hundreds of routes from that area. But those hit the hardest, not surprisingly, have been Israeli-based companies as well, those that generate a large portion of revenue from that nation. When you think about commodities, gold has rallied very significantly the last few days. That is a function of its safe haven or defensive nature. I've also seen the price of oil skyrocket. There was speculation that Iran had been involved in the plotting of this attack. If that proves to be true, the expectation would be some sort of global sanction on Iranian oil. That would even further limit the artificially low supply that is being mandated by OPEC today, ultimately putting upward pressure on energy prices. Now we think from a geopolitical standpoint, additional ramifications. Ukraine, as I mentioned, has been a beneficiary of aid and munitions from Israel, as well as many other countries, including the US. You'd have to think at least some portion of that aid would be directed towards Israel, now leaving Ukraine more vulnerable. Additionally, a lot of speculation that China at some point would invade Taiwan. If you think from a timing perspective, the US currently indirectly involved in two military conflicts in Ukraine and Israel, would have to think the prospect of taking on a third, a la offering support to Taiwan, more difficult today. That's something I think does greatly increase the probability of sort of military conflict there as well. Obviously, though, this is a fluid situation, one we will continue to monitor and share updates as they are available. As always, though, our thoughts and prayers go out to those that are directly impacted by these tragic events.